Hi, welcome to another episode of Mom Does It All. If you're looking for encouragement, empowerment, and uplifting in motherhood and mompreneurship, this is the show for you. I'm your host, Marta Spurk, triplet mom, certified success coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. In this episode, I'll be talking about the huge emotional hit that I had last week. Combined with the experience I had at an entrepreneurial conference, the launch of my course, The Happy Mommy, and my husband getting pneumonia was a lot for me, and I wanted to be real with you about how hard it is to be Mom Does It All. Maybe Mom doesn't do it all. Let's get right to it. So last week was insane, and I don't know if you noticed by last week's episode, I was a little bit out of it. I had so much I wanted to say, but I was having such a hard time personally. I didn't want to not put an episode out. And so I talked about what I wanted to talk about, but not in depth and not as excited and not with as much excitement as I usually have in life. And I promised I was going to talk about what happened last week on this episode because, of course, I like to bring some more depth and philosophize about, if that's even a word, about my feelings and about what's going on. So last week I went through kind of like an emotional breakdown. It was just a combination of many different types of emotions, and it was a lot for me to handle. So coming out of that conference where I was submerged with all these cool, amazing entrepreneurial ideas for my business and meeting amazing people and having ideas of how to connect and how to promote my business and their business, and then the launch of my course, which I was so excited about, and doing the masterclass was supposed to be on Wednesday, right? And it was on Wednesday, and coming out of the conference on that Sunday, Monday night, my husband finds out he has pneumonia, and he spent the entire week at home from work. And for any moms who stay at home and do their own thing while their husbands are at work, when you have someone in the house all day long that you're not expecting them to be there, it gets very, very crowded. And we got into quite a few altercations, and I started just like questioning everything that I was doing with the business because I was so excited. And then I just met with a huge amount of frustration because he was at home and I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. And it was really hard. And I started, questioning balance. What am I doing with my time? Am I getting my priorities straight? And this is something that I wanted to address. And I was thinking about this, like, I don't necessarily have to talk about this because I can keep certain things of my life private. I don't have to talk about everything, and that's a choice. But I also don't want to pretend like everything is okay when it's not. I could definitely take some time off social media or off the podcast and come back and say I was dealing with some personal stuff. And that's not to say I'm going to get into extreme detail of everything that happened, but I felt like I owed it to my audience and also to be authentic to myself to talk about the hard times. And here's why. I come from a church background. You've heard me say this several times before. And I grew up very, very much involved in church because my mom was and still is a pastor. And we got involved with American churches. That's how I met my husband in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he was also very connected to church and very aware of the backstage of things, or the behind the scenes, I should say. And that led us both to be very frustrated. And this is what happens, right? I mean, if you know what it means to be a pastor's kid, it's a tough life because you see something in church and then you see something at home and you get frustrated and you get disappointed. You start questioning your beliefs. And that was one of the reasons why when we got married, we kind of distanced ourselves from church. And that's not to say that I stopped believing what I believed before, but I opened myself up to several different things. And this is something that I have been covering on the podcast as I've been looking into science and physics and woo and all of the things because I'm growing and just, as you grow, you change, you learn, you get exposed to different things. But so that was kind of like a frustration that I've always had. And now with everything that I have been doing with public speaking, with the podcast, and to see that I am influencing people with my thoughts and my ideas, I don't want to be put on a pedestal because that's what I hated so much about what I was a part of before. I do appreciate being admired and being a source of inspiration, but I also want to remind everybody that I am a person just like everybody else with faults. I am not perfect, but me just saying that is not enough. When I actually get vulnerable and share the specifics of what I struggle with, I feel like that is where the rubber meets the road and people can see that I am being real. And I feel like I really reached that point when I started sharing about how happy I was to put my kids in school. And I got some backlash. Some people were like, they're not going to benefit from it. They will benefit from being around you a lot more. And other moms were like, no, the best thing you can do is put them in school because you need some time for yourself, because they need to interact with other people. So there are diverging opinions no matter what you do. And that's what's so hard about being a mom, because damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? If you breastfeed, then it's not that great. If you give formula, then it's not that great. It starts as soon as you learn you're pregnant. You already have all these diverging ideas in your head, plus the things from outside. And it's just a huge confusion. And so when I share what I have decided to do and also the feelings behind all of this, I see how that resonates with other women and makes them feel not alone. And that's the whole purpose of what I'm doing here. I don't want you to feel alone. I want you to be able to feel like you're belonging to this community of moms that do it all. And are doing their best to ditch the guilt and the fear and the worry and the anxiety. And what comes with the whole mom does it all, I have said this before, that whenever I feel down and whenever I'm experiencing the lows, I second guess myself with this name of Mom Does It All. And I have been, so blessed by the women that message me and tell me, no, Mom does it all. But mom does it all with a struggle. Mom is still juggling everything, but that doesn't mean that she's perfect, right? She's still juggling everything. She's still doing it all, but she has a smile on her face. And that's the message that I want to put out there, that no matter what's going on around you, you can still have a smile on your face because you get to choose your happiness. And that's what Happy Mommy is all about and everything, right? And I do want to talk more about the course because I'm so excited to have started this week with the ladies that signed up. But let me go back and talk about, the heart, the core of the issue that I had to deal with last week. And a lot of it has to do with the pressure of building a business, of making money, that while I'm so passionate about sharing all this knowledge and my feelings with other women so that they can feel validated or they can feel like they're not alone, it is a little bit of a personal sacrifice, I feel, with the attention that I give to my kids and to my husband. And that became very evident last week because I was in the middle of a launch and my husband needed me. And I was very frustrated and very torn that I had to give up my little baby of a business for a while and not be as invested in it because he needed me. But it really made me realize that there is no balance. We see a lot about balance out there, right? Especially as women entrepreneurs and mom entrepreneurs, about juggling everything and work-life balance and all of that. And lately, I have been saying, and even in interviews and when I interview other women, that balance doesn't exist. And I saw a very successful mom entrepreneur say last week, even, it was very timely. She said, there is no such thing as balance. Some seasons I dedicate more time to my business. Some seasons I dedicate more time to my family. And I try to balance it out in that sense. Not that I am 100% with everything at all times, because it's impossible. And that's where all the pressure and guilt comes from, is that we're trying to be perfect in all areas, and that doesn't exist. So it's really a matter of you figuring out, okay, in this season, I'm going to be doing this, but I am going to make sure I make up for the other areas as soon as this season is over. And sometimes life creeps up on you and tells you, no, you're not going to be focusing on that right now. You have to be focusing on this. And it's your responsibility to figure out what you're going to do in that moment, which is exactly what happened to me last week. So my husband got sick and I was in the middle of a launch and I got super, super frustrated, but ultimately I had to do what was best for me and for my family. And even if it was frustrating that I couldn't keep with my schedule of posting, of promoting and everything, I did my best. And then I focused on what was important at that time, which was my family. And so the reason I'm sharing all of this is because I want to be open and upfront with you about how hard building a business, and even if I have the best intentions, it's still very hard because we have other responsibilities outside of the business, right? With the house, with a husband, with kids, with a family. And I don't want to paint a picture that this is easy. It has not been easy for me at all. I've switched visions a million times. I've tried a million strategies and price points and things because ultimately I do want to monetize my business. But what has been crazy, and what people say all the time, and we just struggle to believe because we want it to be easier than it is that when you focus the least on money and more on serving, that's when the money starts coming in. And I had to experience this to believe in it. Sometimes you just have to go through it. I think most times you just have to go through it to believe it. And I was so worried that no one was going to sign up for my course because I wasn't able to give my all because my husband was sick. And I was like, you know what? Who cares? Whatever. I will relaunch it in a little bit and everything will be okay. And then I had ladies sign up for the course on Monday, which I said, I was going to put the deadline on Sunday. And then I had ladies message me on Monday and say, I want to do it. And they signed up. And even if no one had signed up, it was okay. I was going to still keep going because I believe in my message, and this is a passion and it's a fire that I have in my heart to help women really create their happiness. But this was just confirmation to me of what happened last week, that I was so frustrated and I wanted to do everything. I wanted to do it all. I wanted to take care of my husband, take care of my house, take care of my kids, and build a successful business. But even though moms are juggling everything, just like I said, some seasons you're going to focus on other things, and balance doesn't exist, or if you want to call that balance, then that's what it is, whatever the definition that it is. And I wanted to be upfront with you that I have struggled because, finding your target audience, finding what people are interested in, and putting yourself out there, being consistent on posting on social media and responding to messages and engaging with people. It's hard. It's a lot of work and it's exhausting. And some days I just want to disappear and be like, what would life be like if I did not have a smartphone anymore? What would life be like if mom does it all was no more? Life would go on, but I do have something in my heart that I want to share. And so that's why I'm continuing on with this, but I am learning to be less and less attached to the outcome, meaning money, and more so of people benefiting from my message. And not even just the praise of "you're amazing, Marta," but just whenever they feel warm in their hearts by what I am saying. Another thing that I wanted to say too is that lots of women that are listening to the podcast do not have social media. And that came to my attention a couple weeks ago when I got a few emails from moms saying, I'm not on social media. And I'm assuming maybe the women that are listening to me from other countries in Europe and Asia, they might not be as present on social media, but they still listen to the podcast, which is dumbfounding to me and amazing. Because I'm so, on Instagram all the time. And that's another thing that I learned from last week, that I do need to take a break. And if I don't post every single day, or if I disappear, it's not that big of a deal. Life goes on. And so I keep asking people, connect with me on social media. But some of the moms that listen to me do not have social media, but I still want to hear back from you. And if this is resonating with you, if you want to contribute with your story, just send me an email. You can send an email to contact@martaspurk.coach, and I will be sure to put that in the show notes for you to connect with me and talk to me. And another thing that I've been working on is I do want to connect with you and talk to you and help you, especially as the show has been growing. And recently I decided to start working with a media strategist. She was actually here on the show a couple weeks ago, Christina Nicholson. I fell in love with her program and with just her approach, just non-BS approach. She just tells you like it is. And that's exactly the kind of people that I love having around, because I love to sugarcoat things. I'm just so happy-go-lucky. And that's why I attract the type ones in my life. The people that are very upfront, have absolutely no problem telling you like it is, telling you the truth. And that's Christina. And she's been helping me with gaining more exposure. I started writing, guest writing for blogs to get my word out there, because if I'm really serious about serving women, I can't just be promoting myself. I have to be providing value. And I feel like this is what I have been doing for almost a year now with the podcast. But I'm a firm believer in using different media, right? That's how you get your message out there more. Because some people don't listen to podcasts. Some people really, really enjoy reading blogs and magazines. And so she's been helping me with reaching a higher number of people. And with that, I am so excited that I wrote an article for Mother's Day for the TWINIVERSITY blog, which if you're a mother of multiples, you have probably come across it. It's a blog, TWINIVERSITY, so it's for twin moms or mothers of multiples. And the fact that they accepted me, they invited me to freelance write for them more often too. I actually have invited one of the mom bloggers from the blog, Natalie Diaz, to be on the show. So we're going to interview her and she's going to be on here too. And I'm so excited about that, to partner up with other women, because this has been my vision, right? To connect with other women and just get the word out there to encourage moms. And the article that I wrote for Mother's Day actually is kind of like a controversial version of talking about Mother's Day. It's not about finding presents or whatever. It's called Forget Mother's Day. And the reason why I wrote that is because I'm just an advocate for you learning to appreciate you. And I know Mother's Day is just a holiday and, for companies to make money off of us buying stuff and presents for mom. And usually we hear the cliche, Mother's Day is every day, but there's a huge pressure on moms at all times to perform, right? We have to do everything and be all of the things, and we never feel like we're enough. And the reason why we feel like we're not enough is because we're seeking validation from the people around us when we should be validating ourselves. And this is exactly what the Happy Mommy is all about. Is you learning to appreciate you, because if you determine your worth, then that's what people are going to see. If you're waiting for people to determine your worth, then the ball is on their court. Good luck, And so that's what this blog article is all about. And I am going to link it on social media once it's ready. They said they will be publishing it on Friday. But I'm so excited about this because really my vision is for moms to empower moms. And for us to stop competing, stop judging. And that's another thing that happened the other day. I connected with this one twin mom, or actually she's pregnant with twins. And she asked me, did you remember when you were pregnant that you just felt some passive aggressive judgment from other moms? And I was like, honestly, I don't really remember. It's kind of like so far behind, but like specific instances. But I told her, I was like, as soon as you become a mom, there is that pressure, there is that judgment, there is that competition. And we should really be striving to eliminate all of this, moms. We should be really coming together because only we can understand what we're going through. So why not support each other instead of just judging, right? And of course, we're going to have different opinions and we can, segregate in different groupings of who believes, this should be the way, or who believes that should be the way. But we should still embrace each other and understand that we're all different. And that's the spirit of Mom Does It All, okay? Is that we can do whatever we want. Of course, with the well-being of our families in mind, but first and foremost, understanding that we're individuals, that we have our own opinions and our own cultural backgrounds, and we're entitled to our opinion. And we need to figure out what that is, because so often we're caught up on other people's opinions and we don't realize that we're carrying people's beliefs and stories with us. It's not us, it's them. So how do you separate that? You have to figure out what you are. You have to go back to your essence. And so let me talk to you about the Happy Mommy. It's just the perfect moment with Mother's Day coming for you to gift yourself the gift of happiness that comes from within, from figuring out how to keep a smile on your face, or how to revisit that smile even when things are hard, okay? There will be moments where the smile is not going to be there. I'm not going to lie. I want to be real with you. There will be moments where the smile is going to go away, but you have the power to bring it back. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. And of course, surrounding yourself with positive people, with people that bring you up is super important, is going to be a part of this journey, but you can't depend on that. And that's what the Happy Mommy is all about. And so this week, with the very first introductory week of the Happy Mommy. We have been focusing on the Enneagram test. You know, I am a super lover of the Enneagram test, so I had all the ladies take the test and share the results, introduce ourselves. Tomorrow, we're going to be having our very first group coaching call, where I'm going to be going over other resources that have to do with the Enneagram test. And then next week, we effectively start Module 1 on self-awareness, talking about beliefs and stories. So you still have time to join us. Even if you're not present on social media, you could still participate, because all you need is access to internet to access the course that is all online. So if you don't have Facebook, if you don't have Instagram, that's totally fine. You could still check out the course and sign up. I will post the link in the comments for you to see all the specifications and details, because I am running this promotional launch price just for the next few days. And I would love for you to join us, because the more mommies we have, the more we can talk about different experiences and really create this amazing community of moms that support moms. I feel so much lighter. Like I got something out of my chest, because I wanted to be real with you. I wanted to tell you that this is not easy, that, you know, I might stumble and I might fall, and I will, but I will get back up and I will continue with my mission of encouraging and empowering moms, no matter what. But I really appreciate you getting in contact with me and telling me what you think about the episode, about, you know, the course and everything that I've been putting it out there, because ultimately it's for you. So thank you so much. I don't think there's such a thing as being too grateful. So I'm going to say it again. Thank you again for listening to this episode. Again, please connect with me. If you don't have social media, just send me an email, contact@martasperk.coach. And if you're interested in the Happy Mommy course, just go to martasperk.coach/the Happy Mommy, and you will find more information as well. Until next time, bye.